Hello guys, and today we're going to be reading scary stories. 5 horror stories from Reddit that will make you question everything. First story, the truth about parallel universes. I'm from a parallel universe, and for the moment I'm stuck here. No, I don't mean I experienced some glitch in the Matrix, nor do I mean I erroneously remember Mandala dying in prison and concluded being from a parallel universe is as much more plausible explanation for this than the unreliability of human memory. I mean, I deliberately came here from a parallel universe using a machine developed by generations of scientists. Being here, I feel obligated to share some information with you that you're not aware of due to the fact that you didn't yet develop the technology to travel between parallel realities. The knowledge I'm going to share with you is going to be upsetting for a lot of you. Due to this, first I'd like to establish how much we do actually know about parallel universes, so you can understand my claims are not simple conjecture. Universe hopping, as we efficiently refer to traveling between parallel realities, is not quite what you'd imagine. The devices we use to do this are ubiquitous to us, as cell phones are to you. We call them watches. Sadly for me, all our electronics are powered wirelessly, and unlike your phones, they don't have an internal battery, hence the stuck here part. Universe hopping itself hasn't been a scientific endeavor for generations at this point. It's a recreational activity. One thing you guys got right in sci-fi is that parallel universes are pretty similar to each other, so when one goes universe hopping into a yet unexplored, for a lack of a better term, universe, it's standard procedure to exchange all information about the parallel universes we know of between each other. All of this data is accessible through our watchers. It is a more sophisticated version of cloud storage. I don't blame you for not immediately realizing the implications of this, but bear with me. Billions of people for every parallel reality casually universe hopping. Constantly exchanging information means we have aggregated and analyzed data from multiple Gogls, as in one with 100 zeros behind it, of parallel universes. There are about 100,000 universes we know of where life just never developed, but other than that, things are not all that different from one another. Yours is odd to me. It's the odd one out. Something went very wrong with your universe. I'm going to oversimplify a lot of things because, frankly, I'm not a historian, and with my watch not working, I don't have access to our historical records. For some reason in your universe, the Sumerian civilization fell instead of acting as a great unifying force, eventually bringing the Roman, Egyptian, and Chinese empires into a international union that you call the Enlightenment. Happened some 2,000 years too late from my perspective. The Black Death, also known as the bubonic plague, never happened anywhere else. When your Europeans reached that you call the Americas, not only did you know they were there, you inadvertently and later very intentionally declared the native population by infecting them with diseases they had no natural immunity to, just so you understand how truly exceptional this is. There's literally only 4 other universes where this contact happened before the invention of vaccines. And there are no universes in which Americas didn't have their own international union. To truly put things into perspective, before you, the least technologically technological advanced reality we found just finished colonizing the entire solar system. You're all living in the worst version of reality. You're living something that's truly more horrifying than any dystopian fiction we created. I wish I could tell you that what went wrong. I wish I could tell you what made all of you aggressive and adversarial. I wish I could, so you could fix this and join the rest of us, but I really don't know. By now, someone most likely already noticed I'm missing, and it's only a matter of time before they figure out where I went. They'll probably assume I'm the first of my reality to stumble upon one of the universes with no life, and I suffocated to death, so they'll come with a portable energy source and I can go home. I don't know what's going to happen to you or what will do about you. If I were to guess, your universe is probably going to be locked out, inaccessible for travel by the public, like lifeless universes here. Because, I'm sorry to say it, but you're just too dangerous for us to be around. Okay, next story. I found files in a place I'm not supposed to be. I recently discovered a place that I was not supposed to find, a place that no one was supposed to find. I know where they keep them, the files, the stories, the reports, and they don't want us to see. I have to keep moving, but I will share with you what I found piece by piece. This is the first file I opened. Redacted Hospital. Dr. H. Lake, 11/15/2004. Patient ID 4436 Crawford. Gender female, age 14 years. Reason for admittance. Patient complains of hearing unknown voices. Patient was treated for paranoid schizophrenia with multiple medications with no success. Admittance for experimental treatment has been granted. Below are transcripts from the first interview with Dr. Lake. Jamie, do you know why you are here? I do, the voices. You're going to make the voices go away. We're going to do everything we can, Jamie. Let's talk about the voices. Are they speaking now? Yes, they're always speaking. And what is it that they're saying, Jamie? I don't think they want you to know. I can't make them go away until I understand them, Jamie. And in order to do that, I need to know what they're saying. They say you can't make them go away, that they are here to tell the truth. And what is the truth they want you to share with you? Not with me, with you, with them, with everyone. I'm just the first one. The first one to hear them. Soon you'll be able to hear them too. Let's try to keep this about you, Jamie. I want to know what you feel, what you think. I think they're right. They're always right. You will see. You can't argue with them. They know things about you, things about me, things about even your son. My son, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie. They don't like to be lied to. I tried that in the beginning. I was punished. You don't want to be punished. Let's keep this about you. What do you mean they punished you? The voices are strong, but most of the time, if you are good, they whisper. But if you're bad, they'll yell and they scream until it feels like your very head will explode if you do not complete your punishment. If you don't do what they say, it won't stop. What was your punishment for lying? I had to kill the cat. I don't want to kill the cat. I liked the cat, but they like blood, not cats. And after you completed your punishment, what happened? They laughed, and then they whispered. And my parents brought me to a doctor. Dr. Wallace? Yes, and he gave me pills. As did Dr. Shannon and Dr. Cartier. But they didn't help. No, I tried not to listen, to ignore the voices, but they scream. Doctors always think they can make the voices quiet. But they're wrong. Is the cat the only punishment you completed? No, I tried to listen to Dr. Wallace. He told me to tell the voices no, and to take the pills if they started to scream, but the pills didn't work, and they started to scream. They needed blood, And so I killed the nurse. I cut her with a piece of a mirror from the bathroom. The nurse that brought the pills, she gave them blood, more blood than the cat. The voices were happy again, and so they whispered. What happened next, Jamie? They sent me to a criminal ward. It was scary there, but the voices told me I wouldn't be there long. And they're right. They're always right. Why weren't you there long? Because I killed 2 guards. I tried to listen to Dr. Shannon. She said to close my eyes and sing a song to drown out the voices. And then if I kept singing, they would stop. But she was wrong. I sang and I sang until my throat bled, and I could taste blood on my tongue. Every breath hurt. When the guards came to get me to take me to Dr. Shannon, I had to give them blood. When their heads hit the wall, there was a lot of blood. They were happy again, and so they whispered. They wouldn't let me stay in the room after that, so they sent me here. Where's Dr. Cartier? He asked the same questions you do. He asked them yesterday. Yes, he did. Dr. Cartier is unavailable today, Jamie, and he will be for a while, so for now, I will be the one helping you. They were right then. Again, he isn't here because he could hear them too. You asked me earlier what it is they tell me, and I told you they didn't want you to know. They want you to know now, Doctor. They tell me how to make others hear them too. The transcript stops here. That also closed in the file are autopsy report summaries for the nurse Jamie killed, the guards, and most curiously, of every doctor except Lake that Jamie encountered. Dr. Cartier was found dead in his office 3 days later. Dr. Lake interviewed Jamie. It is listed as suicide. Dr. Sharon was found dead in the criminal wing of Westview Asylum. Cause of death was stabbing, presumably by an inmate. Dr. Wallace was found dead in his home. Cause of death, accidental fall down a flight of stairs. The last slip of paper and the results of a paternity test. A positive match. Looks like Dr. Lake did have a son, Christopher Michael. I met the Green Reaper and he gave me some life advice. I found myself slowly crawling inside Death's pale barracuda and placing the bucket of chicken nuggets on his dashboard. He was already seated stoically in the driver's seat, waiting for me. Death ignited the car engines and we set off to wherever he was planning to take me. I just sat there, accepting my fate in defeat. The first few minutes were filled with a deafening silence, and he did not speak, and I could not bring myself to utter as much as a squeak. The pale Imperior broke the silence out of the blue, saying, "You're awfully quiet," Benjamin. "Something bothering you, son?" I swallowed my own saliva and tried to sound as relaxed as I could, albeit clearing without success. "No, sir," I responded in a shaky tone. "Oh, ease up, boy. Have a nugget. I'm not going to hurt you. I told you so already. If I wanted you dead, you'd be dust already." Before I could even process what had been said to me, Death shifted his stare towards me. His cold, deathly eyes stared at me. "Aloofy, eat," he demanded, clearly not wishing to mess with the being that is the actual Death. I quickly shoved my arm down the bucket of chicken nuggets, shoveling around for a bit before picking a piece. I slowly retracted my arm from within the bucket and carefully placed it to my face, taking a small bite from the meaty bit in my hand. The whole time Death was staring at me. He wasn't looking at the road, and that made me feel even worse than before. In my mind, I was sure he was going to crash into something, just forgetting just how fragile my human body is. My gaze shifted between his face and the front windshield. Deep inside him is begging to not be hit by any sort of object. "Good, isn't it?" He shifted his gaze towards the road as he asked me that. "Yes, sir, it is." "Oh, Ben, stop being so formal first. And second, I know you did not thoroughly enjoy the nugget. What is it? You can tell me, he inquired. It lacks spices, alright? So you like your food to be spicy? Mm-hmm. You humans and your sadistic tendencies, he chuckled. It completely caught me off guard, the way he said that. But he wasn't wrong. The pleasure from eating spicy foods is a result of tissue getting damaged in our months and our brain's release of hormonal painkillers to deal with the said damage. Wouldn't you like to know where we're going, Ben? He asked me, but it was clear from the way he interrogated those words that he did not really care. Where to? I asked, still somewhat unsure of the whole ordeal. California! There's going to be a unique passing over there in a bit. California? Isn't that a little far? I asked, generally intrigued. Ah, yes, you should not forget who's driving you there. We'll be there in no time, son. I just stared at the road ahead for a while. It seemed like we were driving on a vast and endless road through a hilly countryside up north. I did not know this road, but I did not care enough to ask what kind of route that was. After some pondering, I decided to ask Death a few questions, mostly about the inner workings of the universe. Death, sir, how all of this works? What happens after we knock off? Nothing really. I just come, kill whatever it is that is dying, and that's it. So there's like no heaven or hell or anything, I asked, not breaking my gaze from the road ahead of me. No, you have to have a lifespan in this reality, and that's it. It pretty much applies to anything in existence, although there are some good exceptions. Like God? Like God? There is no God, boy. There is a myriad of beings, like me, that could be considered gods. There is no one God, with a capital G, that is in charge of everything. Your Abrahamic religions are the odd one out. And not just on this planet, there's so-called gods. They have clock in them as well. And when their time runs out, they will all be snuffed by me. Oh, wow, I was not only speechless. There are more things out there, just like him. It presses on the plural. The thought still blows my mind away. So how did you all come to be? I asked. I don't remember, child. I'm old, far old than this universe. I've seen a few hundred of them come and go. I did most of them by myself. There is no exception. It is still in its toddler stage. There is still time. I was talking about more earthly beings than they exceed the exception to die when their time comes. One such example is your religion's called Cain. He crossed some species and they ended up trying his life to the fabric of this reality. In response, he will die when this universe collapses. Until then, he is just going to try to fail to kill himself over and over, as he's been doing for the last 70 millennia. Death's word sent me a cold chill down my spine. There were several universes? There are biological species that are capable of meddling with the fabric of reality itself, and we're being proud of flying to the moon? Christ, we're really nothing but microbes in a petri dish. I was awestruck. I couldn't utter a word. He continues. There is Elizabeth Ditter, a 15th century pleasant girl who was burnt at the stake, that someone opted to bring back from the dead and give her relative omnipotence and omnipresence. I never even bothered asking who did it, or why. It's not really any of my concern either. For as long as she wishes, she can exist, so she's somewhat out of my jurisdiction for now. I don't know what I stumbled. I could hardly formulate words in the place of such information. Yes, I can fathom things, but that's what it is. I do suggest you try to turn off your anthropocentrism for as long as you're in my presence. Contradictory to your belief, you humans are nothing but an amusing dust speck, Death said. I swallowed my spit, lowered my head, trying to digest what I'd been exposed to, but before I could, Death called out, "We're here!" I looked up to find myself standing next to some Californian college. There was a large crowd of people standing in front of the car. It was somewhat hard to see through the sea of people in front of us. Death stepped out of his car, holding onto the bucket of chicken nuggets like it was the most prized possession in one hand, while leaning the other on his cane. I stumbled behind him. "So did someone die here?" I asked, assuming I knew the answer to be positive. "No, but someone is about to. He's about to self-immolate to protest against what he perceives as Trump's lack of care for the state," Death casually said as he walked towards the crowd of spectators ahead. His answer disturbed me greatly. Someone had planned to burn themselves to death over Trump. I mean, I did vote for the man, but I was not a staunch supporter, nor was I really against him. This, however, felt like utter stupidity. In my mind, at that point, I thought whoever that idiot might be, they deserved to die. The crowd grew louder and louder with each passing moment. The crowd grew louder and louder, screaming obscenities about the president and other politicians, blaming the Pentagon for this person's upcoming death. I found that somewhat irritating, but I opted to maintain an appearance of someone who was not bothered by the ruckus. "So you could read my mind, but you thought this might change my mind about anything and more on self-imploding?" I asked Death somewhat boldly. "No, I just thought you might appreciate the future nominee for a Darwin Award with your scientific background," he retorted with a clear tone of sarcasm in his speech. I chuckled and responded, "Touché. I always win. I think we've already established that," he said. I wanted to respond, finally finding the confidence to speak to him without the fear of turning me into a pile of dry, red paint on the ground, but I did not. After I came to notice the crowd around got eerily silent. One of the students was pouring gasoline over a young man seated in the center of the crowd, formed a circle. The realization was finally dawning upon them. Their friend was going to kill himself in a fit of what he considered being a poetic justice sort of thing. Suddenly their vigor faded away. They were about to see the face of death up close and personal. So was I, but I came prepared in a way. The seated man pulled out a lighter from his pocket, lit it, and dropped it on the puddle of gasoline around him. A collective gasp echoed throughout the whole area. Moments later, screams of agony ran through the whole place. The smell of burning flesh hit me in the face, making my wince in disgust. It's not that bad, but definitely does not smell like a burning chicken. There's something unpleasant about it. I could hear people crying and begging for someone to pull them out. Most of them were people who were all setting himself ablaze were several minutes earlier. All of this was just a big game for them until push came to shove, and that's when reality struck them. You have only one life, one health. You are eternal. So is it really worth risking over bullshit? I offered my face with my shirt to avoid inhaling the smoke and watched as Death made his way towards the rolling human-shaped fireball on the concrete floor. No one else seemed to notice the elderly man making his way towards the fire. They were all concerned by grief and disbelief. They did not know what to do. I couldn't see any firemen or policemen in the vicinity, as it probably some spur-of-the-moment thing. These idiots were too preoccupied with crying to do anything to try and save their friend. By the time Death made his way back to me with a large, pleased grin on his face, firefighters were called to the scene. As the young man was pulled It was oblivious. He was already a goner. He had stopped moving some time ago. There was nothing but a pile of putrid carbon laying on the ground left. Death offered me another chicken nugget, insisting that they tasted better when heated. I took a chicken nugget out of his butt and then chewed it. They didn't see you go towards that kid. How's that? They cannot see me unless I choose to. They cannot see you now either. We're between this world and the operating room. That's also why it took us just an hour to get from Seattle to here by car, he answered with a mouthful of chicken. The kid could see me through. As a red goat man, though, Death continued. Dick move, I uttered without noticing. Pardon, he asked in response. Oh, I mean, all due respect, sir. Ha, aren't you a cheeky one, Benjamin? Well, it's time we get serious here. Although I do see you had some empathy for the kid, not wanting him to see a monster in his final moments, I also know you did not take kindly to the people's lack of action, even though you yourself did not budge. He was right. I did not do anything either, but I don't know why. I was just too busy looking at the people around me and punching them in their faces in my own mind. Perhaps someone somewhere inside I knew I'm just a spectator, or maybe I was just stricken with fear as they were. Thank you guys so much for staying with me during this new, thing. Like, I normally haven't done this. Alright, thank you guys for showing me your support. If you do, if you don't, then sorry. Alright, peace.